My son Jack was constantly asking me, "Hey Dad, how tall am I now?" So I'd measure him and then he'd follow up with, "Am I tall enough to go on this ride now?" You see, Jack couldn't wait to be 54 inches tall so that he could go on a real roller coaster. You know, the ones with the corkscrews and backflips. So when that day came, my wife and I planned a trip to Knott's Berry Farm. As soon as we arrived, I looked at Jack and said, "Hey, are you ready to get in line?" Nervously, he looked back at me and said, "Dad, can we go on some warm-up rides first?" And so we headed over to Camp Snoopy and we rode rides there for about 3 hours, and Jack was still building up the courage to go on the big one, Silver Bullet. So we went and got lunch, and about an hour later, Jack comes up to me and asks, "Dad, can we get in line now?" So we walk over to Silver Bullet and we begin getting in line. And as we're waiting in line, I'm sharing with him how this is my favorite ride and how he's gonna have so much fun. And as we're working our way up to the top, the talking and questions come to a halt as Jack gets closer and he's timidly staring at this roller coaster. And finally, it's our turn to get on, and we sit down and buckle up, and Jack starts telling me he doesn't want to go on. I look at him and I say, "Jack, it's okay to be scared. You're gonna have so much fun." I see Jack make a choice inside his mind. He chooses to trust me, and he lets me know by giving me a simple nod. As the train takes off, we begin to ascend and we go up, up, up. The whole time, Jack is white-knuckled, ghost white, and silent. And then we drop. All I can hear next to me from that point on is screaming, but I can't tell if it's of pure joy or extreme terror. And so we go through the corkscrews and the backflips, and finally the ride comes to a halt, and I hear Jack yell, "Dad, that was so awesome!" And then he begins talking about 1,000,000 words per minute as he's sharing about how this is his favorite ride ever and how this part was so fun. And as we're exiting the ride and going down the stairs, he finally pauses and he goes, "Dad, can we do it again?" We went on Silver Bullet 5 times that afternoon. And because of Jack's trust in me, he built up something huge inside of himself. Confidence. In this next part of Acts, we witness the disciples go through a similar situation. You see, Jack trusted me, his father, that he would be totally safe. And as a result, he gained confidence during a time of uncertainty. We witness the disciples, guys like Peter and Paul and Philip, choose to trust their Heavenly Father. They had to wrestle with their hesitations and fears, yet they chose to trust. And out of this trusting relationship, they stepped out in confidence. Confident that God will be with them, confident that God will work through them, confident amidst uncertainty. And as a result, radical things happened. The gospel went out in ways that they hadn't even imagined. God used them to transform lives. And this confidence became contagious. They knew that God would work, they witnessed his power, and they testified to it. I think Christians today need to grow in the same type of confidence. We've stopped trusting that God will be with us and that God will use us to do radical things. Our culture has made us so aware of what we say and do might offend someone that we have stopped living out the gospel with our words and our actions. We would rather be polite than proclaim truth. We have become timid and even paralyzed instead of bold and faithful. The disciples went through this in Acts when they were bringing the gospel out to the world, and they had to break these cultural norms. And what drove them forward is the same thing that should drive us forward: confidence in the gospel. You see, life won't always be put together, but we can trust that God will be with us through all the twists and turns and corkscrews and backflips that this world has to offer. My question for you is, do you have that sort of confidence in your faith?